Oh, yes, Dr. Harper. My sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It really is wonderful how you transformed the spirit of Brooklyn in only 2 short years.
Oh, that's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You know, living next to the church all our lives, we've seen many ministers come and go, but your sermons aren't so much sermons as friendly talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Private Gibbons. Or have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet. Are the brownies good?
Boy!
Would you care for another brownie, Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, thank you. I always have too many of your brownies just to taste that lovely jam.
Oh, but you didn't even try the quiche. We put a little apple in to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
We'll send you over a jar.
No, you keep it here so I can be sure of having your lovely brownies with it.
Well, I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. With this war trouble and all, it may not be very charitable of me, but I'm starting to think that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian.
If only Europe on another planet.
Europe, sir.
Yes, Teddy.
Put your gun the other way.
Teddy.
To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan.
Why, yes, of course.
Teddy!
No, I tell you. Let's talk about Europe. More talk about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war at the table. Would you care for more tea, dear?
No, thank you, Mother.
Dr. Harper.
No, thank you. I must admit, the war and violence seems so far removed from the surroundings.
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes.
It's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn, built and furnished by Grandfather Brewster, though we try not to use the electricity Mortimer forced us to put in.
Yes, your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light.
Oh, we worked so late, the poor boy. We're so happy Elaine Mortimer takes the theater with him. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be by later.
Delighted.
We're so happy Elaine Mortimer takes the theater with him.
Well, it's a new experience for me to be kept up until 3 o'clock in the morning to have my daughter brought home.
Oh, Dr. Harper, we hope you don't disapprove.
Well,
Because, well, my sister Martha and I, it is in this house where they first met.
of course it's happy, of course. So, I'll start by saying that I do believe Mortimer to be a worthy gentleman, but I have watched the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some trepidation. But for one reason, it's happy.
His stomach, Dr. Harper.
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. He has it so, the poor boy.
I'll be frank. I'm speaking of your nephew's unfortunate connections to the theater.
The theater? Oh, no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know, but dramatic critics are constantly exposed to the theater, and I don't doubt that some of them do develop an interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. You have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater. He writes awful things about the theater.
Really?
Oh, yes. But as he says, in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I think if we give the theater another year or two, perhaps... Oh, I'll go Teddy, dear. You just sit back down. Oh, hello, Mr. Brophy.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
Hello, Miss Klein.
How are you, Miss Brewster?
Well, how are you?
What news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid. Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
You know Dr. Harper, of course.
Hello, Dr. Harper. We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's splendid work you men do, fixing up discarding toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
It gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. You get tired playing cards, and then you start cleaning your gun. The first thing you know, BAM! You shot yourself in the foot.
Teddy, go upstairs and get that big box in your Aunt Monica's room. How are you today, Mr. Brophy? How's Mrs. Brophy? Mrs. Brophy's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Charge!
She's much better now, still a little weak.
I'll bring you some beef broth to take to her.
Oh, don't bother, Miss Abby. You've already done so much.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Sister Martha made some this morning for Mr. Beninsky. Well, come sit. Sit all of you.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try stopping her organ sister from doing something nice, and for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
When I first received my call to Brooklyn, my wife was very ill. But when she died, and for months before, well, if I'd known what pure generosity and absolute kindness are, because I've known the Brewster sisters.
No, you promised not to do that.
But I have to call a cabinet meeting to get the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. Neighbors raised came with us. They're a little afraid of him anyways.
Oh, he's quite harmless.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people we could think he was.
Damn shame, and that's a family like this had to repute you.
Well, his father, the old girl's brother, was some sort of a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to me I heard was a little crazy too.
He was crazy like a fox. Made $1 million.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, patent medicine. He's like black and
Yes, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
You don't even know what 10 is. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, I was trying to trace an old man that we never did find. Did you know that there's a renting agency that's got this house down to furnished rooms? They don't even rent rooms, but you can bet that anyone who walks in looking for a room goes away with a good meal and probably a few dollars in their tip.
And just their way of digging up some good to do to people.
Well, now, isn't this a nice surprise?
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brophy, Dr. Walker, Miss Klein.
How are you, Miss Brewster? We dropped in to get Christmas toys.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy, they wear out. They're all packed.
The colonel's upstairs. It seems the cabinet has to obey it
Oh,
first.
yes. I hope Mrs. Brophy's feeling better.
Much better, ma'am. Your sister's fetching me some soup to bring for her.
Oh, yes, we made some just this morning. I just finished taking some to this poor old man who broke ever so many bones in his body. Oh, you're back, Martha! How's Mr. Brophy? Oh, not so good, I'm afraid, but Mr. Beninsky's even worse. I just finished talking to the doctor, and he said he's going to have to amputate in the morning. Can we be present? No, I asked, but he says it's against hospital procedure.
Oh, you wouldn't be of much help, and you must spare yourself something.
Well, here's the broth. Be sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy's nuts about soldiers.
That's General Meyer. I've retired him. What's this? The organ?
Oh, now, Teddy dear, put that back.
But the organ goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No, I've given my word to fighting Bob Evans.
Oh, but Teddy.
What's the difference what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen. We'll run along now, ma'am.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I better be getting home too.
Before you go, Dr. Hush.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
The blockhouse. Oh, the stairs are always San Juan the Hill.
Have you ever tried to convince him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no. He's much like being Teddy Roosevelt. No, there was that one time. Remember, Martha? We thought we'd convince him he was George Washington. Yes, but he just stayed under his bed for weeks and wouldn't be anybody at all. We'd so much rather him be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy, and more importantly, you're happy, you'll see that he signs these.
Oh, what are they? Dr. Harper is seeing that Teddy will go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on, dear. Oh, yes, but why should we sign these now?
Well, if the good Lord were to take you, suddenly we might not be able to convince Teddy to commit himself, and that would lead to an unpleasant legal procedure. I've assured Mrs. Witherspoon that they're to be used at the appropriate time.
Mrs. Witherspoon, who's she?
Oh, she's the superintendent of Happydale.
She's going to stop by tomorrow or the next day.
Well, I'd better be running along, or Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Harper. And please don't think those awful things about Mortimer. Someone has to do those things. Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late? Yes, and dinner's going to be late too. So what? Teddy, good news for you. You have to dig another lock for the canal.
Dear, I did. That's bully, just bully. I shall prepare at once for the journey.
Abby! Well, I was out. Oh, I didn't know when you'd be back. And Dr. Harper... Dr. Harper was coming in. But all by yourself? Oh, I got along fine. Well, I'll just run downstairs and check. Oh, now, Martha, I didn't know when you'd be back. And Dr. Harper was coming in. And so, where? Go check the window, see. Oh, hello, Elaine. Come in, dear.
Oh, good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. Well, I thought Bob was here.
Oh, you just missed him. I'm surprised you didn't see him on your way out.
Oh, I took the shortcut to the cemetery. Well, Mortimer hasn't come yet?
Oh, no, dear, not yet. Why don't you sit down?
Oh, he asked me to meet him here. Don't you mind if I wait?
No, of course not. Oh, we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you.
Well, doing what?
He was raised to know better. When a young man calls for a young lady at their house, he should pick her up there.
Well, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
Well, he's done this far too often. We're going to speak to him.
Oh, no, please don't. As a young man whose idea of nightlife was to take me to prayer meeting, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
Well, it's comforting for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays that he has to see, well, at least he's seeing it with the minister's daughter. Oh, Elaine, what must you think of us having tea out at this time? Now, don't you do anything in the kitchen until Mortimer gets here, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute, too.
Yes, Father must have been surprised not to see me at home. Well, I better run over and say goodnight to him.
It's a shame you missed him, darling.
Now, if Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Why, hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. I didn't know that was still being done, even in Brooklyn. Saw Tabby around.
Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Tabby.
How are you today, dear?
I'm all right, and you look well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Oh, my, that was yesterday. We're seeing an awful lot of you lately. Well, come sit. Oh, Abby, have it be something to do with the kitchen? Huh? You know, the tea things? Oh, yes, the tea things. Well, you two kids just make yourselves at home. Just make yourselves at home.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I would say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show?
Well, that'll make it rather late, won't it?
Not with a little stick of rare seed tonight. From what I've heard, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
Now, you ought to be fair to these plays.
Are these plays fair to me?
Well, I've never seen you run out on a musical.
That musical is opening.
No.
Darling, you'll have to learn the rules. With the musical, there's always 4 changes of title and 3 postponements. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Well, not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletariat in the subway and I listen to a lecture on the drama. But after a musical, you take me home in a taxi and you make me passes.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Oh, now I will admit that after the Berman play, you said I had authentic beauty. And that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. But it wasn't until after our first musical you said I had nice legs. And I have, too.
For our minister's daughter, you know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
The choir loft.
Oh, I'll have to explain that to you, darling. The close connection between eroticism and religion.
Now, religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I'd better run over and tell Father to not wait up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way to regain my self-respect would be to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
Oh, no, I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for any legalities.
Oh, now I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where could we be married in a hurry? Say, tonight?
Oh, I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
Oh, I'll bet your father can make even the marriage service out pedestrian.
Oh, now are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational business. I may have to give that play tonight extra good notice.
Oh, now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Be sure to tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I'd better tell him to wait up.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the banns.
Nevertheless.
All right, everything wonderful, but not later than next month.
Darling, I'll run over to speak to Father and set the date.
Well, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. There'll be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, just bully. What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Oh, goodbye. Goodbye.
Now, where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama.
Panama's in the cellar. He digs locks for the canal down there.
Oh, you're very sweet to him. He's awfully fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite brother.
Favorite? There are more of you?
There's another brother. Jonathan.
Well, I've never heard of him. Your aunt's never mentioned him.
No, we don't like to talk about Jonathan very much. You see, he left Brooklyn very early, by request. Jonathan was the type of boy who liked to cut worms into 2, with his teeth. Oh, I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like Grandpa, but he wouldn't go to medical school, so his practice got him into trouble.
Aren't you two going too late for the theater?
We're sleeping dinner. We don't have to start for half an hour.
Oh, well, I'll just leave you two alone. Together. Again.
Don't bother, darling. I was just running over to speak with Father. Before I go out with you, he likes to pray over me a little. I'll be right back. I'll take the shortcut to the cemetery.
If the prayer wasn't too long, I'd have time to lead you by his stone corner.
Oh, Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. You knew Elaine was good for you.
By the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, Mortimer! Mortimer's getting married! You know, it happened just like this. Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Well, just look at her, leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
Oh, what, dear?
See that statue there? That's a Florentina Carnina.
Oh, no, dear, that's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
No, one Mrs. Stout's left ear.
don't know how you two can be talking about birds when there's a wedding to plan.
It's a vanishing species. They're always very fond. By the way, I left a large envelope around here last week. It was one of my chapters of my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, dear, if you left it around here, it must be here somewhere. Well, where are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, yes. Elaine out of the book.
What was, dear?
My book on Thoreau.
Well, I think we should have a little celebration. Martha, is there any more of that Lady Baltimore cake left?
Oh, yes.
And I'll open some wine.
Oh, I didn't think it happened just in this room.
Well, Mortimer, with your fiancé sitting beside you tonight, I do hope you're seeing something romantic. What's the name of it?
Murder Villa. First thing you'll see will be a dead body. Aunt Abby!
Yes, dear.
You weren't going to make plans for Tate to go to that sanitarium, Taffydale.
Oh, yes, Dr. Harper stopped by with the papers for Teddy to sign today.
He's got to sign them right away.
Well, that's what Dr. Harper thinks.
No, Teddy's got to sign them this minute. He's down in the cellar. Get out here right away.
There's no such hurry as that, dear. Why, as soon as Teddy's working on the canal, there's practically no stopping him.
Teddy's got to go to Taffydale now. Tonight.
Oh, no, dear, that's not until after we're gone.
But right away, I tell you. Right away.
Why, Mortimer, as long as we live, we'll never be separated from our Teddy.
Listen, darlings, I'm frightfully sorry, but I've got some rather shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try and keep our heads, you know. We sort of humor Teddy because he thought he was harmless.
But he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale. Why he has to be confined.
Why, Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned on Teddy, your own brother?
Well, you've got to know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
But there's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know, but it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the thing.
But forget.
You never dreamed you'd peep.
But who is he?
Hoskins. Mr. Adam Hoskins? We really don't know much about him. Except for that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? Well, what happened to him? What is he doing here?
Oh, he died.
He died.
No, he died first.
Well, how?
Oh, Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The man died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
But how did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in the wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has this distinct odor.
You put it in the wine.
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming. Now, Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. Besides, I do think my sister Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's feeling much better, but she'd like us to take Junior to movies again.
Well, we must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, absolutely, but this time I'll choose the movie we're seeing. I'm not letting Junior drag me into one of those scary motion pictures.
What time have you got? Well, that's right. I must be here. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha. We're gonna do?
Yes, dear, what is it?
There's a body in there.
Yes, dear, we know.
Well, my heavens, I can't turn her over to the police. But what am I gonna do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. You know, the whole thing.
Forget. My dear Aunt Abby, can't I make you realize that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, you listen to me. You are too old to be flying off the handle like this.
Mr. Hoskins!
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, you can't just leave him there.
Oh, we don't intend to, dear.
We're going to take him down to Panama.
You mean you're gonna bury Mr. Hoskins in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear, that's what we've done with the others.
No, you can't just bury Mr. Hoskins in the... Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean others?
Oh.
More than one others?
Yes, let me see. This makes 11, isn't it, Abby?
No, dear, this makes 12.
No, I think you're wrong, dear. This is only 11.
No, dear, this makes 12 because it occurred to me that when Mr. Hoskins came in, that made it even dozen.
Yes, but you really shouldn't count the first one.
Oh, but I was counting the first one. So
Oh,
that's 12.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, hello, Al. Hi, it's good to hear your voice. Oh, no, Al, I'm sober as a lark. I was just calling because I was for that little parentello. You wouldn't know, Al. Look, Al, I'm glad you called. Get a hold of George. He's got to review the placement. No, I can't make it. Something's come up. No, you're wrong. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Well, George has got to cover the play tonight. This is my department and I'm running it. You get a hold of George. Now, let's see. Where were we? 12!
Yes, that's only if you're counting the first one, which I still say we shouldn't.
Well, who was the first one?
Mr. McGinley. He came here looking for a room.
Of course, I still think we can't count him because he just up and died.
Well, Martha means without any help from us. You see, he came here looking for a room.
It was right after you moved to New York.
And it was such a beautiful room, we didn't want it going to waste.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead. He was so old and forlorn.
I just felt so sorry for him.
And then the heart attack came. Oh, remember, Martha? He said he was so peaceful in this chair. We thought if we could ever help a man like that again, we would.
Daddy, that chair, how awful for you.
Oh, no, dear, it was rather like old times, actually. Your grandfather always used to have a cadaver or two just lying about the place. Now, Teddy had been digging in Panama for a while, and he believes that Mr. McGinley was a yellow fever victim.
That's why we had to get him downstairs right away.
So, we all carried Mr. McGinley down to Panama and buried him in the log. Now, Mortimer, this is why we told you not to worry, because we know exactly what's to be done.
Well, you know, we couldn't depend on that happening naturally again, so.
Oh, you remember all those jars of quartz in your grandfather's laboratory?
And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've had enough of her piccalilli.
Well, for every 1 gallon of elderberry wine, I add a teaspoon of arsenic, a pinchful of strychnine, and just a hint of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
Oh, yes. In fact, one man found time to say, "How delicious." And then he died.
Well, I'm going to get things finished in the kitchen.
Oh, I'll be in with you in a minute, Martha.
I'm trying out a new recipe tonight.
We wish you could stay for dinner.
I couldn't eat a thing.
Well, we feel so good we got this off our chest. Oh, Mortimer, we're so happy about the wedding. You must have a lot to think about. I'll leave you alone with your thoughts.
Don't look at that. Look, I've got to get down to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, will you promise me something?
You'd have to know what it was first.
Well, I love you very much, and I know you love me, and I would do anything in the world for you, so I'm just asking you to do this one little thing for me.
What do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house while I'm gone leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
I want time to think, and clearly I've got quite a little to think about. You know I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you.
Well, what on earth could happen to us?
Anyway, you'll do this for me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Well, of course you don't think we bury Mr. Hoskins without a proper method of funeral, do you? Why, he was a method!
Can't I just wait until I get back?
Oh, and then Morty can come to the services!
Yes.
Oh, remember you used to love the hymns. Remember how beautifully Mortimer used to sing before his voice changed?
You're not being great, Doris. It doesn't matter.
About this house, about this arms, so you love so much. You know Jonathan, right? Speak to him.
Well, how have you been, Jonathan?
Yes, Jonathan. What have you done these past 5 years?
Oh, I've been to London, South Africa. The past 5 years, Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together.
Well, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
Yes.
We found Chicago rather warm.
Sure, it's got tough for us, too. It's great to be back in Brooklyn again with you. Hi, Tabby. Hi, Mark. Don't look a day old. Just as I remembered you. Sweet, charming, hospitable, and dear old Teddy. Did he ever get into politics? My brother, Doctor, was determined to become president.
Teddy's fine. Mortimer's just fine.
Oh, I know about Mortimer. I've seen his pictures at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all promise of his early nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Jonathan, it's nice to see you.
Oh, bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Well, Martha, we mustn't let dinner boil over.
Yes, we'll just hurry things along in the kitchen. Unless you need to go somewhere.
Well, Johnny, where do we go? have to think fast. The police have got picture of that case. I got to operate on you right away. We have to find some place for that. And we have to find some place for Mr. Spinhouse too. Don't waste any worry on that rat. But Johnny, we got the hot step in our hands. Forget Mr. Spinalzo. You can't leave a dead body in the rumble scene. You shouldn't have got him, Johnny. He was a nice fellow. He gives us a lift. And what happens? He said I look like Boris Karloff.
Dad. Oh, it's you. Oh, now don't be cross, darling, but I ran over and spoke to Father, and he could see that I was excited, so I told him about us, which made it rather hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, he's not going to wait up for me tonight.
You run on home, Elaine. I'll call you up tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow?
You know I always call you up every day or two.
Oh, we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
But why not?
Elaine, something's wrong.
What, darling? Oh, Mortimer, you've lost your job.
So I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that Elaine tonight. So you run on home.
Oh, but I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
Oh, but if we're going to be married...
Married?
Have you forgotten that about 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
Oh, right. Well, married. Well, as far as I know, that's still on. I'll call you up tomorrow.
Now, you can't just propose to a girl 1 minute and then throw her out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house, darling. Would you just get out of here?
No, I will not get out of here, not without some sort of explanation.
But, Elaine... Hello? Hold on a minute. All right, Al, it's important, but I can't wait a minute, can't it? Just hold on! Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl, and I love you very much, but I have something on my mind right now, and I want you to go home until I call you.
Oh, now, don't try to be masterful.
When we're married and I have problems to face, I hope to find you much less tedious and uninspired.
Well, when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine! Elaine! Hello? Hello, Al? Are you there? Hello? Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. Oh, hello, come in.
Yes, I understand you have a room for rent?
Oh, yes, won't you step in?
Are you the lady of the house?
I am. My name's Miss Brewster, and this is my sister Martha, another Miss Brewster.
My name is Gibbs.
Well, how do you do? Won't you sit down?
Yes, I'd like to see the room, please.
Oh, well, let's just sit down and get acquainted.
Well, that won't do me much good if I don't like the room.
Is your home in Brooklyn?
I haven't got a home. I live in a hotel. Don't like it.
Hello, Al? What? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number.
Is that in your home?
Like I said, I live in a hotel. I haven't got a home.
Right, I'm so forgetful. I'm getting on in years. Oh, you're getting so old, Martha. Well, does your family?
I haven't got any family.
All alone in the world. Well, Martha, you've come to just the right house.
Hello, Al? Lord, you got to go. Look, Al, I can't go to the play tonight. That's all there is to it. I can't.
Well, which church do you go to? There's this cute little Episcopal place practically right next door.
I'm Presbyterian, or I used to be.
Well, what's George doing in Bermuda? Certainly I told him to go. It's my department, isn't it? Well, there must be someone around the office. You look around.
There always is much noise.
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
What about the office boy? The bright one, the one we don't like?
Okay,
You keep looking.
I'd really like to see the room.
Well, how about you try some of our wine?
Oh, I never tried.
Oh, this is different. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine. We make it ourselves.
Elderberry wine. Well, I haven't had elderberry wine since I was a boy.
Well, what about one of the printers? The boy who sends my copies. He ought to know about what I write. His name is Joe. He's the third machine from the left. Let out, I'm afraid he might have to be another Burns mantle.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
Well, no, I'm not drinking, but I'm going to start now.
Do you serve meals?
Yes, but let's see if we'll have one.
Now you ruined everything. very bad habit.
Well, Mortimer, we don't stop things that you like to do. I don't see why you should stop ours.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful. Charge!
Hey, there's been another yellow fever victim.
Dear me, this will be a great shock to the general.
Then we mustn't tell him.
But it's his department.
No, we must keep it a secret, Teddy. It'll spoil his visit.
A state secret?
Yes, a state secret.
Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, how do we go about hiding his body?
Well, dear, here's the plan. You go back downstairs, and when it's all dark and the lights are out, you come up and get the poor victim. Now, run along.
After we'll come down and hold services.
May I announce that the President say a few words at the services. Where is the poor devil?
Up in the window seat.
Dear me, it must be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
Dr. Einstein and John can get back. We need to get them to bed right away.
Happy, it occurs to me that I've never actually seen Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, you're right. You weren't here. Well, come along. You must see him. He's really quite attractive for a Methodist.
Oh.
Just bring the luggage in through here.
Jonathan, your room is ready.
I'm afraid we don't keep Brooklyn hours, but you two run along to bed.
Well, we really don't go to bed this early, and you must be very tired.
Well, you should. It's time I came home to take care of you.
We really weren't planning to go to sleep until...
Hi, Martha! Did you hear me when I said, go to bed? Let's get to the laboratory in the morning. Another flight doctor. Run along, my car. All right, Tabby.
I'll turn the lights off when you're up.
Tabby, turn out the lights.
I'll be right up.
I'll open the window. You go around panting through.
No, Johnny, no. He is too heavy for me. You go out of bush. I stay here with both. And together, we get him down to bed.
All right, I'll take a look around outside the house. When I take on the glass, you open the window.
All right, Johnny. Oh, let this open! Watch yourself! All right, Johnny. I got him. Johnny! Johnny, it was me. I snapped. Be more careful. Well, it's still getting off. All right, Johnny. I got him.
Untimely moment to make a social call.
Well, I think you better explain what you're doing here.
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I'm in this house almost every day, and I've never seen you. Now, where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done to them?
Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein.
Dr. Einstein?
A search of great distinction and something of a magician.
Oh, I suppose you're going to tell me that your course...
I'm Jonathan Brewster.
Oh, you're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of me.
Oh, just this afternoon, for
at this time of night?
Well, I thought I saw someone prowling around the house. I suppose it was you.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house?
Well, yes. Weren't you outside? Isn't that your car?
You saw us at the car?
Yes.
What else did you see?
Well, just someone walking around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
Nothing, just that. I came over here to tell Miss Abby to call the police, but now that I know it's you and that's your car, well, I won't need to be bothering Miss Abby and I'll just be running along.
What was the man doing at the car?
Well, I don't know. You see, I was on my way over here.
I think you're lying.
I think she does the truth, Johnny. We'll let her go now.
I think she's lying. Bringing in at this time of night, I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be allowed around loose.
Take your hands off me!
Doctor!
It's going to be a private funeral.
Oh, Teddy, tell me exactly who I am!
That's my daughter, Alice.
Oh, no! Teddy!
Joy! The cellar!
What's going on down there?
What's the matter? We've caught a burglar. A sneak thief. Now go back to your room.
We'll call the police.
We've only called the police. Now go back to your room. You hear me?
Mortimer! Oh, Mortimer, where have you been?
To the Nora-based dinner, I should have known better. My God, it's still there.
Mortimer, this is your brother Jonathan.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come home, Mortimer.
Who did you say this was?
It's your brother Jonathan. He's had his face changed by Dr. Einstein.
Jonathan? Jonathan, you always wear a forum. Do you have to look like one?
Jonathan, easy.
Mortimer, have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were boys? Remember the time we were tied to the bedpost, the needles under your fingernails?
My God, it is Jonathan. Well, yes, I remember you. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous one of them like I ever knew.
Now, don't you two boys start fighting the minute you've seen each other.
There won't be any fight, Aunt Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here, so get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
For tonight.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
Oh, Mortimer, we did invite them to stay tonight. It'd be rude to go back on our offer.
All right. But just for tonight. In the morning, out. Where are they staying?
In Jonathan's old room.
That's my old house. I'm sleeping in that room because I'm here to stay.
Oh, we're so glad.
Okay, Johnny, we sit down here.
You bet your life you sleep down there.
You sleep on the sofa, and I sleep in the window seat.
The window seat. Oh, well, let's not argue about it. The window seat's good enough for me. I'll sleep in the window seat.
You know, Johnny, all this argument, it makes me think of Mr. Spinazzo.
Spinazzo! Well, now, Mortimer, is it really necessary for us to inconvenience you like this? We'll just sleep down here.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is very unconvincing.
Now, Johnny, let's get up. We'll bring our stuff down here.
Don't bother, Doctor.
By the way, Doctor, I think you lost track of Mr. Spinazzo.
Who is this Mr. Spinazzo?
Just the friends and our Johnny's been looking for.
Well, don't let anyone else know.
Johnny, come here. I think you're all not invited back.
You're just wasting your time. I told you we're sleeping down here.
Oh, Mortimer! Mortimer, I've almost been killed!
You've almost been... Abby! Martha!
Jonathan, dear, it was Jonathan. He was
Take that back. He's more than that. He's some sort of maniac, Mortimer. I'm afraid of him.
Darling, you're trembling. Have you got any smelling salts?
Oh, no, but maybe some hot tea or coffee.
Coffee! And make some for me, too. And some sandwiches. I haven't had much to eat yet.
Martha, we can leave our hats down here now.
I don't need to run on. 12 now,
Oh,
dear.
that's got to go home. What?
I just remembered something. We were going to celebrate your engagement. Yes, that's right. I'll go and make some sandwiches for the both of you. And I'll open a bottle of wine.
All right, well, no wine!
Mortimer, what's going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
You were supposed to take me to dinner in the theater tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you. I said I would. And now 10 minutes later, you threw me out of the house. Now listen, Mr. Brewster, before I leave, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
Well, yes, I love you. In fact, darling, I runs through my family. It practically gallops.
Now, darling, you're going to have to do better than that.
No, darling, there's a strange taint in the Brewster's blood. Take the first Brewster, for example, the one who came over on the Mayflower. You see, back then, the Indians used to scout the settlers. He used to scout the Indians.
Mortimer, darling, that's ancient history.
Take my grandfather, for example. He tried his patent medicines out to be on dead people to be sure he wouldn't kill them.
Now, he wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And there's Jonathan. You just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And there's Teddy, and you know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, darling, no Brewster should marry. I realize now that if I met my father in time, I'd talk to you.
Now, darling, all this isn't proof that you're crazy. Why, look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, aren't they? And the kindest, sanest, sweetest people I know.
Well, even they have their peculiarities.
Yes, but what lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one!
Well, darling, there are plenty others, but listen, you can't tell me anything about your aunts.
And I'm not going to. You just have to run home, Elaine. Something's come up.
Up from where? We're here all alone together.
I know I'm acting irrationally, darling, but just blame it on the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
Now, listen, if you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're insane, you're crazy. Now, you may not want to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, you don't.
Well, if you love me, would you just get the hell out of here?
Well, will you at least walk me home? I'm afraid.
Afraid? A little walk to the cemetery?
Oh, Mortimer, won't you kiss me goodnight?
All right. Good night, darling.
Oh, you critic!
I'm sure that you've never seen this man before.
I certainly am starting to get to think anyone can walk up in this house.
You just admitted to putting Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man certainly didn't get the idea from Mr. Hoskins. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, he's down in Panama, dear.
You buried him?
Oh, we haven't had time with Jonathan and Dr. Einstein walking all over the house. We've always wanted to hold a double funeral, but I will not read the services over a total stranger.
A stranger?
Yeah.
Aunt Abby, you just admitted to poisoning 12 men and putting them in the cellar.
Are you saying I'm telling a fib? Martha! I'd like to have a word with you.
Well, work's what I'll have time for, Jonathan, because I've decided it's time for you and your doctor friend to leave.
Well, Mortimer, I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof. But you've come to the wrong solution. Now take your suitcase and get out!
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You've played your one-night stand in booklet. Move on!
My dear Mortimer, just because you graduated from the back bench of the typewriter, don't think you've grown up. Now I'm saying, and you're leaving, and I mean now.
If you think I can be frightened, if you think that there's anything I fear,
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer. If it's taught me one thing, it's to be afraid of nothing.
Martha, just look what's in the window seat.
Now, Aunt Abby! Jonathan, why don't you tell Aunt Martha what's in the window seat? Aunt Abby, I owe you a huge apology, but I have some good news for you. Jonathan is leaving. He and Dr. Einstein are taking their cold companion leave. Now, Jonathan, you're a Brewster. I'm going to give you the chance to get out and take all the evidence with you. You can't ask for more than that. Very well, then. I'll have to call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone. Are you still giving me orders after you've seen what's happened to Mr. Spinoza?
Spinoza? I knew he was a foreigner.
What happened to Mr. Spinoza? What happened to you, too? Oh, I'll get dears.
You know, you and I are in the same line of business.
Oh, we are?
Oh, yes, we are. I write plays, you know? And just being on the police force is just temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years, give or take. You know, just picking up materials for my play.
I'll bet it's a honey.
Oh, it better be. With all ICB and a cop and everything, Mr. Brewster, you have no idea what goes on here.
I think I do.
Hey, what time you got?
10 after 1.
Gee, I gotta ring in.
Oh, well, wait a minute, O'Hara. You know, on that play of yours, I may be able to help you out.
Say, you would? Wow, it's my fate walking in here tonight.
Oh, on your way, eh? Well, you better hurry. You haven't got much time, you know. Well, O'Hara, Don't you try that. You can't leave without everything. Really, O'Hara, my brother's on his way out. It's fine. I don't want to keep you waiting.
Oh, no. I've been waiting 12 years. I can wait some more.
I'm sorry I took so long.
Don't bring that in here. Officer O'Hara, why don't you join us for a bite in the kitchen?
The kitchen?
Jonathan was just leaving.
Oh, nice. Well, come with me, Officer O'Hara.
Are you sure you don't mind eating in the kitchen, officer?
What else would you eat?
Okay, well, goodbye, Jonathan. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein.
I'm glad you came to Brooklyn, Jonathan, because it gives me the chance to throw you out. And the first one out is your boyfriend, Mr. Spinozzo.
Hey, Miss Brewster, I can tell you the plot.
Tell me right out.
I'm gonna go, you grown up trying to play with a policeman.
Get going now. All three of you.
Doctor, this affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Now, Johnny, we got trouble enough. Your brother gives us the chance to leave. What more could you ask?
You don't understand, Doctor. This goes back a good many years.
Now, Johnny, let's get going.
Doctor, we're not really. We're staying here.
With the cup in the kitchen and Mr. Spinozzo in the window seat.
That's all he does. We'll bring Mr. Spinozzo down and dump in the bay and come right back here if he tries to interfere.
Now, Johnny,
Doctor, you know when to make up my mind.
when you make up your mind, you'll lose your whole head. Brooklyn ain't a good place for you.
Doctor!
Okay, we got to stick together. Someday, we got stuck together. We are coming back here. You're bring this with us.
Leave them here. Hide them in the sun. Move fast. Mr. Spinozzo drove the same way he came in. What's the matter?
Come here. Come quick.
Okay.
You're not son at all.
Jonathan! 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 Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer?
What are you still doing here? I thought I told you to get out.
We're not going.
Oh, you're not, are you? You think I'm not serious about this? Why didn't I just call Officer O'Hara in here and show her what's in the window seat?
We're staying here tonight.
Fine. Very well then. That gets me rid of you and Officer O'Hara at once. Officer O'Hara, would you come in here, please?
If you tell her about what's in the window seat, we'll tell her about what's down in the cellar.
The cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What are you doing down in the cellar?
What is he doing there in the cellar?
Oh, no, ma'am, I'm fine. Thank you so much.
I'm the first one in London, 2 in Johannesburg, 1 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix!
At the filling station. The 3 in Chicago and 1 in South Bend. That makes 13.
Now, Johnny, you can't count the one in South Bend. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have died at the moment I hadn't shot him first.
Now, Johnny, he doesn't count. He died of pneumonia.
Well, he counts with me. I say 13.
Johnny, you have got 12, and they have got 12. All they are just as good as you are.
Oh, they are. Well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is 1 more. That's all. Just 1 more.
Well, here I am.
Nobody would ever know we were down there. 48 hours we didn't sleep. Now, Johnny, come on. Huh?
Have you forgotten, Doctor?
What?
My brother, Mortimer.
Ah, Johnny, tonight, we did that tomorrow or the next day.
No, tonight. Now.
Johnny, please, I'm tired. And tomorrow I got to operate.
Yes, you operate tomorrow, but tonight we take care of Mortimer.
Johnny, please, we got to bed now, huh?
Doctor, look at me. You can see it's going to be done, can't you?
Oh, Johnny, I know that face. I know that look.
It's a little too late for us to dissolve our partnership.
Okay, Johnny, we do it. But the quick way, that quick twist like that.
No, Doctor, I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps Melbourne.
2 hours. By the way, the fellow in London was just as dead as the fellow in Melbourne.
We had to work too fast in London. There was no aesthetic satisfaction. It was in Melbourne. Oh, there was something to remember.
I wish I didn't. Not Johnny, not Danny, not me.
Now, Doctor, go get your instruments.
I will not do it, Johnny.
Where are they? Oh, wait. You did it in the cellar. Where?
I will not tell you.
I'll find them, Doctor.
Japan! Those devils are signing at once. You have my word.
Yes, let's go and find it.
Whoa, wait a minute. The secret proclamation has to be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr. President.
I'll have to put on my signing clothes.
Oh no, Doctor, I'm waiting for something. Something important.
You go now, please!
Dr. Einstein, I don't have anything personal against you. You seem to be a nice fellow. Just take my advice and get away from here as far as possible.
Trouble! Get away now!
All right, don't say I didn't warn you.
Look, I'm warning you! Get away quick!
Things are gonna start popping around here any minute.
Look, John is in a bad mood. When he's like this, he's a madman. Things happen. Terrible things!
Jonathan doesn't bother me anymore.
Doesn't this place you see teach you anything?
About what?
Well, these people in the place seem that they got sense more than you do.
Oh, you think people in the plays act intelligently, do you? I wish I had to sit through some of the ones I had to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for example. In this play, there's a man. He's supposed to be bright. He's in a house full of murderers. And he knows he's in danger. But does he leave the house? No. He stays. Now I ask you, Doctor, does this seem like something that an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me?
He doesn't even have enough sense to be frightened. He even gets asked to sit down.
You mean when to sit down?
Believe it or not, that one was in there too.
And what did he do?
He sat down. Now, mind you, this man's supposed to be bright. So there he sits, the big dope, just waiting to be dressed up. And you know what they used to tie him with?
What?
The curtain cord.
Why not? Very convenient.
A little too convenient. When are playwrights going to start using imagination? The curtain cord. So there he sits, the big dope, just waiting to be dressed up and gagged.
Now, Johnny, go back to the house.
Remember where they would help you now.
Quick, Johnny. Turn your hands. Now, Mortimer, we'll finish that story. Now, Johnny, the quick way, yes?
Yes, Mortimer, I've been away for 20 years. But not once in all that time, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. In Melbourne one night, I dreamt of you. Now when I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction that you and I were once again in the same country. Now, Doctor, we do the work.
The quick way, yes?
Doctor, this must really be an artistic achievement. Performing here to have a distinguished critic.
Johnny!
Now, Doctor, I'm all ready for you.
I will do it, Johnny. But I need a drink first.
Take it easy, Doctor.
Okay. When we walked in this afternoon, there was a white key, remember? Where did you put it? Here, I found it. Now we both have a drink. We both need a drink.
One moment, please, Doctor. What are your manners? Yes, Mortimer. I realize now that it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Now, Doctor, to my dear dead brother. Damn that idiot! He knows next. That's all. He knows next.
Not Johnny, not Debbie. Here where I stop, not Debbie.
We get to him later.
We don't get to him at all.
Now, Doctor, we've got to work fast. I think perhaps the quick way.
Johnny, the quick way.
Yes, Doctor, the quick way.
Hey, the colonel's got to quit blowing it.
Oh, it's all right, officer. We're taking the bugle away from him.
It's going to be health pay in the morning. We told the neighbors we wouldn't do that anymore.
It's all right, officer. Now, good night.
Oh, I better tell him myself for the lights.
somewhere? If you don't look at the circulars you put up in the station, the least you can do is read True Detective. Of course he's wanted somewhere. In Indiana, he escaped from prison for the criminally insane. For God's sakes, it's how he was described. He looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, and I'm claiming it.
You're trying to get down in the cellar.
He said it was 13 bodies buried down there.
13 bodies in the cellar, and that didn't tip you off that he was from a nut house?
Thought all along you talked kind of crazy.
Oh, it's Shakespeare! Where the hell have you been? And no, don't even tell me.
Oh, I've been right here. I've been writing a play with Mortimer Brewster.
Oh, well, you're gonna have a lot more time to write that play. You're suspended. Get back to the station and report in.
Oh, hey, can I come and use the station typewriter sometime?
No, get out of here! You two, bring him somewhere else and find out we can find out what his accomplice. The guy that helped him escape was wanted too. No one would put into the shades and with flatheads like you in the police force. 13 bodies in the cellar.
There are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who is this?
I'm President Roosevelt.
What the hell is this?
This is the fellow that blows the bugles.
Good morning, Colonel.
Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle.
Dear me. Another yellow fever victim?
What?
All the bodies in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
Oh no, Colonel, this is a spy we found in the White House.
Would you get him out of here?
If there's any questioning of spies, that's my department.
You stay out of this.
You're forgetting, as President of the United States, I am also head of the Secret Service.
Captain! I'm Mortimer.
Are you sure?
I'd like to talk to you about my brother, the one who blew the bugle.
Mr. Brewster, we ain't got nothing to talk about. He's got to be put away.
I quite agree with you. In fact, I've had these commitment papers signed by our family physician, Dr. Gilchrist, and I've signed his next of kin.
Where's he going?
Happy to.
All right, I don't care where he goes, just as long as he goes.
Oh, he's going all right. But I just want you to know that everything that's happened around here, Teddy's responsible for it. Now those 13 bodies...
Yeah, those 13 bodies in the cellar. It ain't enough that the neighbors are deathly afraid of him with the bugle and all. But can you imagine if that cockeyed story about 13 bodies in the cellar got around? And now we certainly yell fever scare. Cute, ain't it?
Ha ha! 13 bodies in the cellar. Do you think anyone would believe that story?
You never know with people these days. Why, just last year, crazy guy over in Greenwich such as murder room, and I'm gonna take a half-naked lunch just to prove it. He's right.
Would you excuse me for a second?
Good morning, Mortimer.
Good morning, darling.
This is Mrs. Witherspoon. She's come to speak with Teddy.
To speak with Teddy.
Mrs. Witherspoon is the superintendent of Capitaldale.
Oh, come right in. This is Captain.
Lieutenant Rudy. Super, I'm glad you're here, because you're taking him with you today.
Today? I didn't know that.
Look, Elaine, I've got a lot of business to attend to, so why don't you just run along home and I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, nuts. I had no idea it was this immediate.
He signed the papers in. He's got to go.
Complete insubordination! I'll have you men know I'm now mollycoddled. When the President of the United States is being treated like this, what's this country coming to?
There's your man, Super.
Just a moment. Good news, Mr. President. Your term of office is over.
Is this March the 4th?
Practically.
Let me see. Oh yes, now I go on my hunting trip to Africa. I must get started immediately. Is he trying to move into the White House before I moved out? Taft!
That isn't Taft, Teddy. That's Mrs. Witherspoon. She's to be your guide in Africa.
Oh, bully! I'll bring down my crewmen at once. When the safari comes, tell them to wait. Oh, the fire comes! Isn't it wonderful? Charge!
You haven't met Mrs. Witherspoon. She's the superintendent of Happydale.
Why, hello, Miss Witherspoon. You've come to meet Teddy.
She's come to take him.
Oh, no. Not while we're alive.
Look, he signed the papers. He's committed himself. He's going.
Well, if he goes, we're going too.
Yes, you'll just have to take us with him.
Well, why not?
Well, it's very sweet of them to want to, but I'm afraid it's impossible. You see, we cannot sane people out there.
Miss Witherspoon, if you allow us into Happydale, we'll see that it's in our will for a very generous amount of money.
Well, Lord knows we need the money, but
Ladies,
I'm afraid.
let's be sensible about this. Now, here I am wasting my morning when there are still murders to be solved in Brooklyn.
Yes! Oh, are there?
Yes, and you know, it ain't the bugle that's blown, and the neighbors are deathly afraid of them. And soon enough, we'd be put to the trouble of digging up your cellar.
Our cellar?
Yeah, your nephew's been talking about there's 13 bodies in the cellar.
Why, there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Yes, and you think that's why Teddy has to go to Happy Dale? Well, just come down with us and we'll show you.
There's one, Mr. Spinalzo, who doesn't belong to us. But the other 12 are our gentlemen.
Are you sure you can't find room for them?
Well,
Yes!
I'll take your word about the 13 bodies, but seriously, you're sure you can't take them?
Well, then have to be committed. Well, Teddy committed himself, so can't they just commit themselves? Can't they sign the papers? But certainly.
Well, if we can stay with Teddy, we'll sign anything you need. Where are the papers?
Well, I'm very excited to go. The neighborhood here has changed so.
Oh, just think of front lawn again.
All right, sign them up, Super. I want to get this taken care of.
if you'll sign up here.
And you here.
Oh, we're looking something.
What?
We're going to need the signature of a doctor.
Dr. Einstein.
Please, I must go now.
Oh, Dr. Einstein, it'll only take a second. Just come here. You know, last night at some point, I thought the doctor was going to operate on me.
Were you going somewhere, doctor?
I think I must go.
Oh, don't you want to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Hello, Matt? Rudy? Yeah, we caught the guy that's wanted in Indiana. Hey, there's a description of his accomplice on my desk. Think you could read it to me? Yeah, 6'1", blue eyes, talks with a German accent. Pretends to be a doctor? Thank you.
Don't worry, Lieutenant. The doctor here just finished all the signatures.
Officer, you're really doing it.
Hello, Elaine. I'm glad you stopped by. Stick around.
Oh, don't worry, I intend to. Mr. Brewster, you sign here's next of kin.
Of course. Right here.
That's fine.
And that makes everything formal, everything legal.
Oh, yes.
Well, darlings, now you're safe.
When do you think you'll be able to start?
Oh, why don't you go upstairs and show Teddy what he can take along?
Upstairs? I'll show you.
Oh, no, Mortimer, you stay with me and talk to you. Yes, just upstairs and turn left.
Well, Mortimer, now that we're leaving, this house truly is yours.
We want you to have it.
Oh, darlings, I can't. This house is too full of memories.
Oh, but you and Elaine will need a place to stay when you're married.
Well, darlings, it's very indefinite.
Oh, it's nothing of the kind. Mortimer and I are going to be married right away.
Well, Mortimer, we're really very worried about something.
Darlings, you're going to love it at Happy Dale.
Oh, yes, we're very happy about that whole arrangement. That's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong.
Are they going to investigate those signatures?
Oh, no, I don't think they'll investigate Dr. Einstein.
It's not his signature we're worried about, dear.
You see, you signed as next of kin.
Yes, of course, why not?
Well, it's something we never wanted to tell you, but now you're a man. And Elaine, you should know too. You're not really a Brewster.
Your mother, she came to us. Oh, and she was such a good cook. Oh, she can cook. How does she make? So we said, brother, we need to marry her. And he did.
I'm not really a Brewster.
Now don't feel badly about it, dear.
Elaine, this makes no difference for you.
Elaine, do you understand? You hear what they're saying? I'm a bastard!
Well, I'll just start breakfast in the kitchen.
Oh, don't bother. Mortimer's coming over to my house. Father's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
Yes, I could use a cup of coffee.
Well, you must be very tired. Why don't you just make it?
Bring it up.
One moment with this group. Take this with you.
Oh, Jonathan, you're leaving too?
Well, we're happy to see you have a place to go, Jonathan.
Yeah.
We're off to Happy Dale.
There's some people in Indiana who want to take care of for the rest of his life.
This house is the last of the Brewsters.
Unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn this property over to the church?
Well, that's something we never thought of.
After all, it should be part of the cemetery.
Let's get going.
Goodbye, aunties. I'm afraid I can't find my score, but neither can you. At least I have that as satisfaction. Well, the score stands even. 12 to 12.
Jonathan always was a mean boy, could never stand to see anyone get ahead of him. I wish we could show him he isn't so smart.
Miss Witherspoon, does your family live with you in Happydale?
I have no family.
Well, I suppose you consider all of Happydale your family.
I'm afraid you don't quite understand. As head of the institution, I must keep quite a
Well, that must make things very lonely for you.
Oh, it does, but my duty is my duty.
Well, why don't you try a glass of our elderberry wine?
Elderberry wine.
Yes, we make it ourselves.
Of course. Of course, a Happydale relationship would be much more formal. But here, you don't see much elderberry wine nowadays. You know, I thought I had my last glass of it.
Oh, yeah, no. Here it is.
Teddy!